So we will start with a little short prayer. Om Sahana Om Bhavatu Sahana Om Bhunaktu Sahabhiryam Karavavahi Tejasvina Maditamastu Ma Vidvi Shavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bolo Satguru Shri Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai, Bolo Shri Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Okay, again, welcome to everybody for coming to this session, this satsang webinar, and it will be for about 2 hours. So for me here is evening. I'm in Đà Lạt, Vietnam, and for you is during the day. So today is a Sunday, Easter Sunday. So happy Easter! On this meaningful day that symbolizes renewal, awakening, and eternal life, we are being reminded of our infinite potential, our infinite inner resources, and perfect love, which always wins. So this holiday celebrates the meaning of life, and this is the time for us to remember the beauty and the sacredness of our lives. Swami Shivananda said that the true goal of life is to get back to the source from which we came. Just as rivers flow restlessly till they join the ocean, the earth like water, so too we will be restless here till we become one with the peace in the true self deep within. So in this constant flowing journey of life towards self-realization, there are transitions and challenges that we need to face graciously, taking these as opportunities for growth. So the topic of tonight will be about renewals and choices in time of transition. How to turn adversity to opportunity. So you can see a few keywords there. The keyword renewal, choice, transition, adversity, and opportunity. So we'll be talking about a few points that we will make throughout the talk today. Number one, how life is in constant transition. Number two, how life has a positive direction. Number three, we are struggling, but we are always progressing. The more the struggle, the stronger we become. Number four, that we have a power of choice. We're not victims. In any given circumstances, we'll still have the choice to move forward in life. So we need to exercise our power of choice. Number five, we will talk about the 7 stages of conscious self-transformation. How to do that. How to renew yourself consciously. Number 6, we'll talk about when we have difficulty to choose or to make decision, when we are too afraid to choose. So we would discuss a little bit how mistakes are stepping stone to success. And number 7, we talk about adversity and how adversity is a perception. You can return to your untouched self. You're the master of your destiny. Nobody did this to you. You can learn to become strong and accept the game of life. You and your experience are one. And one sentence that kind of mysterious, but those who know yoga philosophy, you understand. There's no world out there besides you. I mean, you are everything. And number 8, everything is an opportunity for practice. So that's the agenda of today. It's a lot. Are you ready? So the number 1, we talk about how we are in constant transition. Okay. So transition makes us uncomfortable and we don't know. So we need to understand the meaning of life. Swami Shivananda say that life is a journey. There's a direction to life. We are always in transition between stages of life. And there is a lesson to be learned at every step. So what we're trying to do is not to get lost in the appearances and the illusions of life. Our destination is to realize our inner peace that always has been here. So different times of transition. Okay, so now you try to see yourself, in these different times of transition. And sometimes just by locating ourselves and realize where we are, we accept our situation better. So the number 1, for yogis, you understand that there are many lifetimes. So we are also in transition, lifetime to lifetime. This life is only a chapter of your book of your life. It's not everything. So you need to step back from your life and recognize the theme of this life. It will be helpful. And the other transition is you are in transition between stages of life. So according to our age and our maturity, we move through the 4 stages of life. We have different duties at each stage. The student stage, householder stage, retirement stage, renunciation stage. Our struggles often reflect the lessons that we need to learn at every stage. We also learn that our psychology and needs evolve with each stage of life. Nowadays, when many people are wondering about their work and their profession and what they're going to do, we need to recognize also that we are in transition between occupations. Our ideal occupation is the one reflecting our inner state of being. From being unconscious with no self-awareness, instinctive living, survival thinking, and living only for enjoyment, to the idea of self-centered self, making the best out of our separate life, to being more responsible of our fellow beings and our actions, and last, to become selfless, understanding our oneness and acting out of the vision of oneness. So we might be in transition from one space, one state of mind to another. And between gunas, according to the theory of yoga, So we move from the place of darkness, yeah, denial. Okay, I slow down for translation. So you can show thumbs up when you finish, when you want me to continue the translation, the talk. Okay. So we can also be in transition, moving from the place of darkness to the place of rajas, or action, to the place of purity and balance and knowledge. Okay, so our journey is a journey of purification, where we unveil ourselves from our veils of ignorance and recognize the light and the knowledge within us. So that's a theory of yoga philosophy, that we are perfect. We are the light within. But sometimes you cannot see it. So we are in transition also between the periods of our karma. And that is not many people really understand. And the inner working of our karma, because we are learning lessons in time, and it follows sequences. According to Vedic astrology, our lives revolve from one karmic expression to another. From one period to another, we have to learn different things. I just summarize. For example, we have to learn self-confidence. Okay, and we have the sun, the period of the sun. We have to learn psychology and emotions, the period of the moon. We have to learn action and energy, the period of Mars. We have to learn intelligence and reasoning, the period of Mercury. We have to learn righteousness and wisdom, the period of Jupiter. We have to learn devotion and enjoyment, the period of Venus. So we have to learn self-discipline and forbearance, Saturn. We have to learn desires and compulsion, Rahu. We have to learn detachment and renunciation, Ketu. So everything is set up by heavenly energies for us to learn. The lesson of enjoyment is 20 years. 20 years. The lesson of self-discipline is 19 years. The lesson about desires is 18 years. Rahu. The lesson of intelligence is 16 years. The lesson of wisdom is 16 years. The lesson about the mind and emotions is 10 years. The lesson about energy and action is 7 years. Of detachment is 7 years. Of the self and confidence and the ego is 6 years. Okay? So that's how things can happen sometimes. And we don't understand, but if we know more or less, you know, what are we supposed to learn, then it's easier. So we are also in transition between seasons and weathers. Okay? Season is revolving, winter, and then spring. In California is now is almost spring. In Canada is still winter. In other places is warm and hot, no spring, summer all the time. So we're learning that the seasons are revolving. Summer, then fall, the leaves, you know, turn yellow, and then winter. So what we are learning is life is cyclical. That means it keeps revolving. We just have to step back and enjoy the seasons changing and revolving. Yeah, you cannot cry when all of a sudden the leaves fell down. Yeah, the winter comes. So the idea is you need to step back and understand the bigger picture. Changes of temperature, weather affect the moods and our health. Okay, so if you keep contemplating about this, then it helps us to accept change. So even during the day, there is a different timing. Yeah, things change. Yeah, morning when the sun rises, evening when sunset, noonday. There's a different quality of time. Yeah, that will determine a certain feeling, a certain result. And also in our life, we think it's always the waking state, but it's not. We're revolving between the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. So whatever that might be a nightmare during the day, yeah, and we sleep, then it's gone. Our daily landscape is revolving between these different states of consciousness. So the idea is we need to learn to become the observer, the witness to all these changing phenomena inside and outside of us. So in fact, we are always transitioning, and we indeed never stay still. We renew ourselves constantly. So according to Swami Shivananda, life is a school in which every sorrow, every pain, every heartbreak brings a precious lesson. The world is your best teacher. There is a lesson in each experience. The world is the best training ground. So we learn to be in the world and be untouched by the world, like the lotus flower growing out of the mud. Okay? So that first idea is that we are constantly in transition. So the second idea is that the journey of life is going in and up and not out and down. What that means there is a direction to life. And that direction is going inward, more inner awareness, and up. That means going, elevating ourselves, growing, and not out and down. So through all the lessons in life, we learn to be more aware and to elevate ourselves. In means inward, toward our peace within. And out means losing ourselves in external concerns. Okay? So our journey is inward. Up means feeling light and content. Down means feeling restless and dissatisfied. So we need to recognize our path and renew ourselves. Swami Shivananda gave very beautiful indication of what is our journey. Okay? So he says, our journey is from impurity to purity. So if something happened and you don't understand, then just understand that it might be this. Yeah? It's a lesson for ourselves to purify ourselves. So we learn to accept our challenges and pains as growing pains. We're cleansing ourselves from our impurities. And we are learning better behavior. So it also is a journey from hatred to cosmic love. Yeah? So we are learning to hate less and to love more every day, then we'll be moving in the right direction. Is the path from death to immortality. So this idea, if we think that we are the mortal body, we'll be gripped by fear of death. But if we are able to move more inward and change our consciousness by going deeper within ourselves, if we learn to meditate, we'll become more detached from the body, and we can feel the freedom and the lightness coming from our eternal spirit. Okay, so it's a big idea, but still, you know, it's a spiritual journey, and we need to follow. And the more that we are doing that, the more we feel somehow more at peace. Even in yoga, when you practice the yoga asanas and you practice savasana, yeah, we completely relax and we're not controlling, and we come out of it renew, refresh, because we learn to detach from the body. So our journey also is a journey from imperfection to perfection. We might be disappointed at ourselves for not being perfect, or judging other people to be less than perfect. But eventually we mature and we know that perfection cannot be attained in this world. We do the best we can in this relative life, and at the same time realize the level of ourselves and of life that is perfect. So we change our angle of vision. So we stop to try to make a better past. That means constantly thinking of the past, comparing with the past. And we live in the present more and more, where the perfection can be found. So our journey also is our journey from slavery to freedom. So we might think that we are victim and that we are bound in our lives to do things we do not like. We might have a wrong sense of what is true freedom. Swami Shivananda said that freedom does not mean eating anywhere you like, go anywhere you like, or speaking anything you like. But freedom is found in self-discipline. So we are in fact slave to our desires and senses. Yoga helps to slowly turn our bad habits to positive habits and help us to realize our true inner freedom. So that's our journey. The next is to realize that our journey is from unity to from diversity to unity. So what that means? Yeah, before you might always comparing and see the differences. Then eventually you start to see the unity of the whole of humanity. So the test that we are going through now as a global community bring us closer together. For some, it's create more shift, more kind of separation. But also for some, we realize we are one. So we see more our interdependence. So we open our mind and accept our differences, become less judgmental. So our journey also is a journey from ignorance to eternal wisdom. We're learning more and more to control our mind and emotions and become wise amidst chaos and controversies. We learn to see the bigger picture of our life and learn to avoid to repeat the same mistake and to create new karma. Our journey is a journey from pain to eternal bliss. We learn from our pains and know that we have somehow forgotten ourselves, looking for happiness in the wrong place. So we eventually learn that happiness is within, and the answer lies within. We breathe, we relax, we recognize and forgive ourselves, we reconcile, and others, we reconcile with others eventually in order to be free from our pains. So another point, very important, that we are moving from weakness to infinite strength. So due to our weakness, we have fear, attachment, we create pain for ourselves and others. But life journey teaches us to be stronger and stronger, to face more and more demanding challenge. Everything is a test of our strength and our faith. Okay? So recognize yourself, reconcile with the meaning of life. It helps a lot. The point number 3 is to recognize that we have the power of choice. We need to exercise this power of choice wisely. We need to use our conscious intelligence over our instinct and emotions. So in that journey towards more self-awareness, we exercise our intellect, but oftentimes we are being pulled in the opposite direction by our habitual low mind. We want to learn and to grow, but we are caught in our habits and our attachments. Our emotions pull us to the past and to the future, but resist the guidance of our intellect. We forget ourselves in the past and the future. We are unable to live life fully. We find ourselves unfulfilled and stuck because we want to return to a secure past. And we have difficulty to venture in the unknown. So in that journey, we need help to make changes. So people of high mind who have been there can support us in our journey. Okay? So we talk about the 7 steps of conscious change. There are 7 steps to transform our impressions in our mind. So if we want to transform, we are dealing with our mind that resists or that has some kind of impression that's so deep that we cannot change. So we have to learn how to renew ourselves consciously, how to work with our mind's tendency to repeat itself. When we leave an old pattern for a new one, we enter a transitional ground that can be unsettling. We often resist new patterns for fear of losing identities that we have carefully constructed. It is like a more evolved person of the a more evolved version of the old self. And when we are evolving, it's the same self, but somehow it's more refined. And eventually lead to our true nature. This is the goal. So we keep refining and purifying our mind patterns into healthier designs. And it becomes easier and easier. So the number one stage is you need to set your intention that you're going to be kinder, or you're going to be nicer, or you're going to be more patient, or you're going to be more selfless. So you need to set an intention. The second, you make a commitment to work on an old habit. Yeah, increase the awareness and try to bring the inner light and wisdom. So number three, you need to slow down to observe the mind, allowing greater reflection and insight. You practice yoga, and yoga will help you to slow down. Number four, you need to be aware of unseen force that can hold you captive in the old samskara, the old impression. Okay? So you need to make the intention and then think about it more and then slow down, observe the mind, and then be aware of unseen forces that would pull you back. Number five, you need to strengthen yourself by fearlessness and tolerate the unpleasant sensation in that change. For example, the grief or the fear of loneliness that might pull you back. Number six, we need to envision new pattern. You have to have the visualization of your new self. Maybe when you do your yoga practice, when you slow down, when you relax, you can envision your new self. And number seven, you need to keep practicing. Okay, and understand that you might relapse, but you can go forward again. So we need to know that we are sometimes, and some people more than others, you have difficulty to make decisions. You want to renew yourself, you want to find a better self, and yet you have difficulty to make decisions. Why? Because there's some level of fear, some level of attachment to our old identity. But we need to know that mistakes are stepping stones to success. So don't be afraid. If you make a mistake, it will be painful and you will recognize it. And by thinking about it, you'll be successful next time. So don't be afraid. That's an important quality. And try to be not so rigid. Okay? So we can learn to make our life easier by learning to have faith, to have trust, and to be detached. For a person that is self-aware, there's no such thing as mistake. There's only lesson. Okay? So we are moving very quickly. Are you okay? We continue. So the whole point is to say that our life is constantly moving. We imagine our life in a certain way in our mind, but it's not it. It's constantly changing. We're constantly learning. Actually, sometimes can be very intense lesson, okay? But it's still the same lesson. There's a lesson to go closer to our truth, a lesson to transform, be on top of ourselves in some way. Yeah, and not so be so rigid and think that things has to happen that way or that way. And we can sometimes, help ourselves to make conscious decision to change. Okay. So now we talk about adversity. So this is a big topic nowadays. So the teachings say that adversity is a perception. And the teaching says that when you feel yourself in some kind of difficult situation, the best scenario is that you can pull back into your untouched self. Okay? That is difficult. During that time, to remember that you are the master of your destiny. So I understand it's very easy to say it, more difficult to practice, but it's still, we need to practice. In the time of adversity, it will be difficult to resort to the wisdom of the self and try to see the rope or the true reality. Yeah, the true reality is everything is good and well, and we are perfect, and not the perception of we call the whole theory of the snake and rope. Yeah, at night, I go back to that again and again. At night, you see the snake, very scary, and you jump in fright. When the light comes and you see the true nature of the snake is the rope. So what that means? That means that we superimpose our own fear, our own idea about things upon the reality. So there is some kind of mistake that we do all the time, interpreting our lives. Okay? So we need to, when we think like this, then what happens is we equip ourselves with some kind of spiritual strength. Okay? When we start to step back and you start to see, oh, maybe, I got too involved and I got too scared and things are not the way how it is. And even though you might not understand what is it happening, but just the fact that you step back will give you more inner spiritual strength. Knowing that all is well in reality. Okay? So then at that time, we can find our courage to face the snake, because we are very terribly afraid of snake. But if you have a little doubt that maybe it's not the snake, even though I see the snake, maybe it's not the snake. Yeah. So you can step back a little bit from the fear and the projection. And you will be able to face the worst imaginary outcome. Okay? So adversity can be a good trainer. I mean, it teaches us. And what it teaches us to be strong, no matter what. Strong in ourselves. In adversity, we need to get mentally ready for what's coming. So it's not like we are catastrophizing. I mean, there's some certain mentality that people all the time think of the worst outcome of everything, yeah, out of their subconscious fear. So they think like this, but it's not that what we are talking about. We are talking about the conscious facing our situation in order for us to gain strength and courage and to be able to find the solution or the creative solution when we face the worst scenario. Okay, so it's a technique to work with your mind. So we have to face our hardships in order to do the right thing and not run away in fears. So earlier we talked about we need to visualize ourselves, have a positive visualization of what we like to become, and strengthen that image, and then you will become. So here, the opposite is we are facing our perception of adversity. We think about the worst scenario. We have negative visualization in order for us to mentally prepare for the hardships in life. Okay? So we imagine the worst outcome. So it takes some strength to be able to do that. Most of us don't want to think about this. So that's why we are paralyzed in fears, anxiety. One person one time come and tell me about his concern about, disease, or his concern about his body, what happened, and so on. So I know if I'm going to try to comfort and try to listen, that mind that is actually is imagining all kinds of things and gripped by that fear. So I don't know how, but I said like this, well, the worst is that you die. And when I said like this, the worst outcome is that you die, you lose that body. And it's like a shock. But at the same time, there is something within the person that is refuting that scenario, or the death scenario, then he feels much better. Then he knows what to do. And sometimes we have to do this. So when you see the worst, does not mean that you are resigning your fate to it. Okay? It's the opposite. By seeing the worst, you would not bury your head in the sand and run from fear. So you have to go through that exercise with the details of a possible negative scenario. For example, now, people are very afraid of disease and virus. So you can imagine that maybe your mother is going to be sick. Maybe you will lose her. Your son may be going to be sick, and you might lose your son. Or maybe you lose your job forever and ever, and your business will bankrupt and you can never start over again. This kind of thinking. So we can do the exercise. Let's face the bad news and try to come up with a positive way to think about them. Let's get ourselves ready. Okay, so just the exercise in our mind makes us ready. Someone say, there's no way out. There's only the way through it. That means don't run away from it, but face it. So, for example, the bad news is that the confinement that you find yourself in continue. You were hoping it will be lifted, but now it continue. That's the bad news. So we have to think of things to do to turn inwards, take ourselves more seriously with our yoga and meditation practice. Okay, catch up with our sadhana. Take the time to be more aware of ourselves. Normally we think that everything is okay because we are too busy externally, so we are never aware of our mind. But now we can see our mind acting up more when we are alone or when we have more time. So we become more aware that we need to really work with ourselves. And then we see how the yoga and meditation help us to ride through. Okay, there's another point of the scenario. You might feel completely overwhelmed. For example, the schools are closing for longer time. The children are with you and you feel overwhelmed parenting them. There's no babysitter. So you have to think that this is a good opportunity for you to know your kids better. You have to be involved in their teaching. You have to be creative when you're tutoring them. You have to find yourself more stronger in order to help them to structure themselves. So you might not want to do this, but this is what you have to do. So think the most positive thing about this new task. All your life plans might change. Yeah, you want to go on vacation, you plan to study, you plan to get married, and all these things now are canceled or postponed. So many people have plans change, but you can face it. It is okay. You can think positively that you will appreciate the event much better when the time comes. It's not the worst thing. So you might have the scenario of sickness and disease. You might think, I might get sick. I might even die. But think, it is okay. Death is not the end of life anyway. If karma is the reason why I am in this body, I'm not sure that I have completed my karma. So I ask myself, am I ready to die or not? It's something that you have to face. So this prospect of death will give you the meaning to this life. Death is not the only problem. So you can imagine the worst scenario. You might be sick. You might be put on a ventilator. And when they put you on a ventilator, they have to sedate you. And you might get out of it, okay, or not. Yeah. But think about this. You would you be sedated. You will not be able to pray. And it is important, we said, the last thought determines the next life. It's very important for you to be as aware as possible. It's better that you pray, that you try to breathe the yogic way as much as you can, that you don't lose consciousness, and that you repeat the mantra on your lips. As you imagine the worst outcome, you might be sick. You might be sick for weeks. But it is okay. Yeah? There must be a meaning while you're alive. You're alive to fulfill some kind of mission. So at that time, you become much more careful with your time. Okay, so I'm sorry to give you this kind of scenario, but it's something that your mind don't want to think about. But we need to think about it so we can become strong. And you might imagine that people around you will get sick and maybe they will die. Yeah. Now it is said that 40 to 60% of Americans will get sick. And in the US, there will be more than a million deaths. So eventually you have to say, it's not my will, it is God's will. And then you might think the worst scenario where people, will be rioting. They would behave badly. Okay? Because, now they become more desperate. Maybe it will happen. But also, you can imagine that there will be people that will be stepping up and try to be helpful. And you might be one of this person that would step up and want to be helpful. It's a great opportunity to be helpful to others. So you might worry also that there is scarcity of stuff, of commodities. Why? Because there is a disruption in the supply chain. People don't go to work, they cannot produce things, and transportation doesn't work, so things are not the same. But you have to think that it is something short term, and that you'll be fine with simple living. Yeah, in yoga, Ayurveda, we said that we can live out of simple food like khichdi, which is mung dal and rice and some ghee. and some vegetables for a long time. So think like this, worst scenario, and the bottom line, you'll be fine. Really, the situation is we have too much food, we have too much variety of food that come from all over the world. So now when we are missing some of those specialty, then we feel like some kind of big thing that happened. But we can live a simple life. We can return to the garden. In fact, our health and our appreciation of life will increase. So you might imagine that the economy will enter recession. Consumer spending habits will change. But think positively about it. It is okay. We do not need more stuff. And this situation makes that very clear. That we can live out of little. Translation is okay? Okay. So this tendency toward, consuming is slowing down, and it's okay. So we might imagine also that we will not be able to travel the way we did. Right? The borders will close. They're already closed now. But we might have to think that we turn inward. We control our desire and our imagination, and we learn to be content with ourselves. We learn to be content with nature. Learn to be content with the people around us. And we can connect with people through internet. So it's all difficult thing to think about, but it's good to think about. You imagine that maybe there's a lot of tensions between countries, not just only between people, but between countries, people blaming each other. It can lead to some conflict. That is okay. Like people will work the relationship out. So nations, they will work their relationships out. This is a game that changes all the time. So that's an exercise to think of adversity, not running away from it, and to think that adversity is an opportunity for practice. Okay? So we need to know what kind of practice. Like earlier, we said about the flow of life, how life is a meaning. You go from one place to another. So introspect and find out what is it that you are learning. Always there is an answer from within. And it's an opportunity for practice. What kind of practice? Yeah, practice of cultivation of virtues, that's one kind. So think about this. The virtue of flexibility, the virtue of adaptation. Now all the centers are teaching yoga online. And some people find it very interesting because you can just create, you know. So here in our little center in Dalat, then they do now the teaching for free to people before they go to bed. So at 9 p.m. or so, so there is a class on breathing before you go to bed. So you put people to bed, and there are many people that sign up for that. So something interesting that we cannot do normally. So the virtue of adaptation, the virtue of strength, of courage and fortitude, we are building up. The virtue of understanding, of patience, of empathy, the virtue of learning how to detach, how to relax, no matter what. Our mind sometimes cannot relax, so stressed out, but we have to learn how to relax. The virtue of calmness, of forgiveness, of tolerance, of selflessness, the virtue of compassion and love. So there are plenty of opportunities, but also the other side is the practice of eradication of vices. Not just only seeing the virtue, but also seeing our weakness. For example, our tendency toward anger, toward control, seeing our tendency toward blaming, toward being judgmental, toward rigidity, procrastination. We know something we need to do, but we just keep procrastinating. Lack of will. I mean, we're not strong enough. So earlier we talked about the different steps of conscious transformation. So we have to do one thing at a time, one little thought at a time, and try to change little by little every day, make our resolve stronger. That will keep us very busy. Okay, and try to eradicate this tendency toward intolerance. I mean, thinking our way is the best and don't have room for other people. Our, our indulgence, our lack of self-control. Try to think about this. Think about how difficult it is for us to turn inward. How we are lacking self-awareness. We're aware of our desire, our personality, but we are not aware of our own self, which has to come when the mind is controlled. So we become aware that we cannot be in the here and now. So we need to practice to be in the here and now, and to practice little by little. This is a formula of Swami Shivananda. Little, 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 little. So don't think of a big thing, but every day there's plenty of opportunity for practice. Little by little. So we come to a conclusion that we need to keep flowing with life, with faith and fortitude, no matter what. If you practice acceptance, awareness, and detachment, you enjoy life for what it is. Life is a school. And life is a play. You become better and better at it. You can lose everything, but the main thing is you're not losing yourself. Swami Shivananda said, any amount of zero have no value. Let's say you line up 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then you added all this together, it's still 0. But you put the number 1 before all the 0, then it becomes millions. So what is the number 1? Number 1 is your self-awareness, your self-consciousness, your own self. So think about this. And when you think about this, when you remember the self, then everything else makes sense. No matter what, no matter the situation, you're free. Okay? So that's the idea. Maybe I have time to just tell one story. One of my favorite stories in Mahabharata is the story of losing the game of dice. Yudhishthira losing a game of dice, and he's time to lose all his brothers, and then he met his wife Draupadi, and then the guard went in and tried to pull Draupadi out and threatened her, you better go, you now become our slave. If not, I will pull you by the hair. So that's the story. And Draupadi asked a simple question. He said, did my husband, who is the one that is playing the game of dice, is my husband lost himself first and me after, or he lost myself first? So that's a question. And they answer, no, he lost himself first. So then Draupadi said, how can somebody lose anything if they have lost themselves? So that's the idea. He cannot lose her because he has lost himself before. So that's the point to say, never lose yourself, even in the worst situation, and take the opportunity in this life to flow, to become better, and know that life is always moving forward. Okay? So that's it. So that's a talk for Easter, about change, about transformation, about life, about the meaning of all our challenges. So do you have any question? Where is our Swami Adiparashakti? That is a...
So you can type your question.
So we are 174 people, very nice. You can type your question. It's a big topic here.
Or if you want to raise your hand.
And somebody say thank you from India. So people from all over the world, I think. So a lot of people are saying thank you, but no question. Somebody from New York City, somebody from UK, somebody from San Francisco. Somebody says enlightening. Somebody from Brazil, very nice. So to let you know that we have a stress relief service, international, okay, that is in many languages, in Spanish, in German, in French, in Portuguese, in Hindi, Malayalam, Tamil, in English, of course. So different language that we offer for free to the community. So if you know people that are stressed out, that need help, you can tell them to go to the Yoga Farm website and they can apply. They choose the language, the country, and then they can apply. And then we assign them to one of the health educator or Ayurvedic specialist or yoga teacher, and they can be listened to for half an hour and they would receive counseling.
Okay,
Okay.
Swamiji, you have some questions now.
Okay, let me finish my announcement. So that that's a stress relief service. We put the ad up, but you need to kind of share. You need to pass the word around. Okay, a lot of people are stressed. Maybe they don't know they are stressed, but they are stressed. They're in this transition time and feeling, very challenged. So please do tell them about the service. They need to go online. Okay, the website is shivanandastressrelief.org, O-R-G. So they need to go there and then we direct them what to do. Okay. And then the other thing that I like to make announcement to is that if you like to give a donation to the ashram, Yoga Farm, yeah, please do. Okay, you can give the donation through the center. So people in China, you can give donation through the Chengdu Center, yeah, and in Taiwan and anywhere you can do this because the ashram is closed and there is no real income. So please do that if you can. Okay, and you can ask the question now, Swamiji.
Okay, the first question is actually from Facebook. It said, how can we help others to cope during this time of transition?
If you are a yoga teacher, that's a very easy thing to do. You can teach them yoga. Okay? You teach them how to breathe, how to stretch, how to relax, how to concentrate the mind, how to improve the quality of their life, the quality of their lifestyle, how to structure their daily life, how to bring them back in the present when they are worrying. Yeah, a lot of things you can do. If you are not a yoga teacher, then you can give them the advice that I just said. You can tell them, yeah, don't worry, be here now, everything will be okay. You can offer your presence, your comfort, and try to do something concrete for them so they feel like somebody care. So that is important. Okay.
Okay, Swamiji.
And on the website of Yoga Farm, you would find also a lot of talks that I have given that explain exactly all of this. How to face fear, how to face anxiety, and so on. So you can go there and you can read. And for the Vietnamese also, there have been translation. There's a video about different topics and also articles. So you can help educating, because when people, you know, they don't know what to do, then at that time there's a lot of fear, a lot of worry. But so whoever you are, you have to start educating people. Okay.
Okay, Swamiji, you ready?
Yeah.
Someone asked, they said there's a lot of self-help culture around, indulging in the notion that everything is okay. I am concerned about the influence of this and that any deeper advice is too hard to hear and unwelcome. Do you have advice?
I'm sorry, you need to repeat the question again.
So I guess he said there's an idea that everything's fine, just let it pass or something. And he thinks it's missing out on some deeper way to help people that may be too hard for people to change or unwelcome to people. Do you have advice on that?
Yeah, we've been talking about that quite a lot. Yeah, so I'm talking about not hiding away, not running away, not putting our head in the sand. I did say that we need to face our situation, we need to be stronger, and also how we are using our self-awareness to know that always there is something that we are learning from, so we can go deeper and deeper within ourselves. Yeah, so it's not just like, you know, denying, yeah, and being passive and being you know, blind faith. It's not like that. It's taking responsibility of what happened to us and to our perception, and try to go deeper using this as an opportunity. There's a lot of work required on ourselves, on our perception, on our sense of self. So it's not denying and running away and escaping. It's not like everything will be okay. It's not like that. Sometimes you say to people like this so that they feel comforted, but in the next sentence you have to tell them that, you know, try to find the reason why, that you, what is it that you can learn from this situation. Okay.
He was
So,
clarifying when he said self-help, he meant indulging in bad habits and lower mind. I guess self-help means just helping the lower self.
okay. Okay. So if people indulge in that low mind, and you are asking the question how to help these people, I believe that people sometimes they are indulging because they don't know what to do with themselves. You know, sometimes they are just kind of burying themselves, and they're afraid to look, and then also they become addicted, and then, you know, they go down, spiraling down. Yeah. So it depends on situation, but you can give them a kind of strong pep talk. Yeah, if they want to continue like this, fine and good. If they want to destroy their life, fine and good. You know, ultimately they would die sooner or later. But it's better to understand that there's a meaning to life. Everyone has a meaning to life. Everyone wants to be somebody and helping somebody and do good in life. So then at that time, you know, they need to do this one thing at a time. I believe in the virtue of selfless service. If you can be selfless towards somebody, think of somebody worse than you and help them, then it would just lift you up and you have a meaning to your life. But oftentimes people self-indulge because they don't know what to do with themselves. And they are kind of selfish, turning only toward themselves. They don't think of other people. Okay, so hopefully it will answer more or less to your question.
Another question is, how does meditation help with self-transformation?
Meditation calm the mind down, clear the mind, and reveals the self. So automatically, without knowing, if you meditate, you become calm and you become a different person. Automatically, if you can learn how to calm the mind down and relax and concentrate, then you are in the presence of your own self and everything changes from there. But you need to meditate every day, a little bit, but every day. And don't expect too much that it will change all at once. It's just every day you do a little bit. Okay? There is one talk that I had just now about meditation. So please look it up. And there's a video about it. So please hear it. And there are lots of answers there to your question.
Okay. So I don't know if this is a comment or a question. She says, it's okay to have bad habits, fall to addiction, and not feeling guilty. You're doing your best, but nothing fruitful and healthy in place of this. So I guess you have to put something helpful in to replace the bad habit. Is the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I understand the question. You need to replace the bad habit with the positive habit. Okay? And to replace it, little, you can look at these 7 steps of self-transformation. You have to set the intention first. You have to work on it. You have to keep working on it. You have to slow down. You have to recognize the pattern of the mind. Yeah? You have to visualize yourself free from this negative habit. You repeat the visualization. You repeat the practice. And one step at a time. You have to do yoga. The yoga helps you to slow down. Meditation helps you to slow down. Yeah, one step at a time, and then you'll be able to do it. You transform one thought after the other, one impression, because one habit is an impression in the mind. So now you have to create a new intention, a new habit of thinking, and you go step by step slowly. Okay?
Thank you. So another question. It is with the true self that one is able to know things and others. So without the true self, things and others cannot be truly known, and so they cannot be lost either. This is a question in regard to the story at the end of your talk.
If you don't know yourself, then you cannot know others. That is clear. And now, what's the last sentence? They cannot be lost.
So without the true real self, things and others cannot be truly known.
Correct. Because you cannot see through others. So you don't know yourself, you don't know others. Correct. And then next.
And the question is, so they cannot be lost at that point if you don't know them.
I'm not sure. What's the question? They cannot be lost in which way?
If you never know something, you can't lose it, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not sure the question. That means if you don't know yourself, or if the people around you don't know themselves, so you are lost and they are lost. Yeah. That means that you are in darkness and they are in darkness. So at that time, whatever that you lose is you lose yourself. They lose themselves. You lose the clarity, and then at that time you suffer. Okay? So because you don't refer to the eternal self, the eternal life, the truth within, the higher level of consciousness. So you refer to something externally, then sometimes you suffer because of loss, because of changes, and so on. So the idea is try to turn within, no matter what, try to turn within, do the yoga techniques, do the meditation techniques, get in touch with yourself more and more, and then everything become more clear. Okay?
Okay, sorry, it's not clear. Here's another question. Someone, she lives with a friend. Best way to hold space for it's a partner who is going through their first time of losing their ego and a shattering of what they thought life was because of this whole COVID-19. She said, especially this last full moon felt like a combustion. He is just entering the spiritual recognition, and I lost the rest of it. But yeah, so what do you advise for people first time having to go through this type of experience?
Yeah, it's shocking for them because they feel everything is in question. So you need to be there. You need to be comforting. You need to tell them that there will be, something good will come out of this. Just calm down, relax. Yeah. So do yoga, do relaxation, and then they would not be so caught in the drama of what's happening, but they'll be able to detach. So yoga is very good. Yoga, meditation,
I would
relaxation is
I
very
would
good tool.
I would reference her to the yoga relationships talk you did a while back.
Mhm.
She's asking about how to keep the relationship or what to do with the relationship.
Any relationship must be a relationship of love. So you need to always be more loving, then you go in the right direction. So more patient. The person goes through difficulty, then you need to be more present and try to be more understanding. Okay.
All right. So we have a couple in Vietnamese now. If you can unmute Priya, or you want to read yourself. Better unmute Priya.
Somebody is saying here, thank you for the talk. I would be available for translating in Italian language.
It's in the Q&A. It's in the Q&A box, not in the chat box. We're not looking at the chat box.
Okay. But in the chat box, somebody volunteer to translate in Italian. That would be nice. So you get the name of the person.
Where is it? I'll check.
In the chat box.
Tell them to message me.
Sarah Levanti.
Okay.
Well, can you please send a message to the stressrelief.org email and say that you are willing to translate this in Italian.
She means live. Next webinar live, I think. Or subtitle maybe. Okay. So you can message us. So you want to read the Vietnamese, or you want me to unmute Priya?
Yeah, unmute her.
All right, Priya, are you there? Wait, sorry.
Là
Now, you see it?
okay.
Yeah.
Thấy rồi. Yeah, I got it. So CC asked a question. So Amy giải thích rõ về các giai đoạn của cuộc đời. Giai đoạn tâm trí và cảm xúc 10 năm. Rồi giai đoạn đó diễn ra vào đoạn nào của cuộc đời ạ? Và có phải theo lứa tuổi không? Tương tự như vậy các giai đoạn trí tuệ 16 năm tách rời 7 năm gì đó.
Yeah, she's asking about the different phases.
Hỏi về những cái trạng thái.
Phases of life in according to Vedic astrology. Is it according to age? No, it's not according to age. So different planets just keep revolving like this. Different lessons just keep revolving. 10 years, 20 years, 18 years, 7 years, like this. So and if you didn't finish, then you born again in the next life and you start over again. Your lesson is all the time you are learning. So it's not according to age.
Some planets come to maturity at a certain age, right? Like 36,
Yeah.
you get more Jupiter awareness.
Yeah, it's more complicated. But the idea is the lesson that you learn comes with time. I'm saying how many years, just for you to have an idea that sometimes we are in a situation and we are so impatient. Yeah, we want it to be finished. And again, the same situation happen again, different way. And we get very impatient, but we are not recognizing that we are learning a lesson. Okay? And it takes time to learn that lesson. Sometimes it takes 10 years, sometimes it takes 18 years, 19 years. Like this. Okay? And during that time, there's a different other small lessons, different lessons accumulating. So what I'm saying is life is not that simple. So we need to step back and we need to know that there is, we are learning. And eventually it will be revealed to us what is it that we are learning.
There's one
Okay,
more
next.
in Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Okay, Priya, you there?
Yeah.
There's one more in Vietnamese. Can you read it?
Ok. Nhờ vào thực hành yoga và thiền định thì mình mới dễ ý thức tự thân được nhiều hơn, phải không ạ? Tách mình khỏi các ham muốn, từ đó mới thực hành kiểm soát và chuyển hóa tâm trí thuận lợi hơn, phải không ạ?
Yeah, she asked question, but she has the answer already.
Anh này anh hỏi câu hỏi nhưng mà anh có câu trả lời rồi.
Wait. Yeah, I need to send you there.
Basically, she say if you practice
Căn bản
yoga,
anh hỏi là
then you would have the detachment and the understanding. And I say yes, of course. All the answer to her question is yes.
So English question. Someone asked if you feel like you're being attacked by a racist person, how to respond in that moment.
No, if you have a mantra, you can repeat your mantra. That's the fastest answer. So it doesn't, so your mind don't react. If you have a chance, then you understand that the consciousness of the person is at that level. So they identify themselves with the color of the skin, with their culture. So that's why they see somebody different, and they don't like somebody different. So you understand where they come from more, then you don't react. But the idea is when you feel like there's racism, or how you say that, when there is gender discrimination, it is because it is in your mind. So sincerely speaking, and this is the teaching, but also I feel like this too, is that what you still have in your mind, you always will be challenged, so that you can confront that, so that you can be free from that. That means your identification with race is there in your mind. Therefore, people will come and they would attack you in your race. Yeah? And you might defend yourself, or you might also go introspect And then you let go of the idea that I am such race. Yeah? You go deeper into the idea that I am myself, independent from race. I cannot be defined by my color or by my race. So once you become very certain of that truth within you, then there will be no more attack. So you solve the problem from within. But if somebody attack you, you need to remain very firm that it's an illusion. They're not attacking you. It's just an idea that is there. But you are not that. You are perfect. You are the immortal self. You are not just a race or a gender. Okay?
Someone was just asking for some chanting or some mantras in your voice, and I'm just sending them the link. We have a podcast with your Jai Ganesha chanting and some other chanting.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, someone is asking, from this time, I deeply recognize how humans are destroying the earth with their activities, economy, industry. If we want to change the situation, do we need to move back to pre-industrialization life? We don't use anything that can harm the environment, such as plastic cars, etc. Or do we have another way to manage between modern life and spiritual life to protect nature?
It's a big question. The question that we all face all the time. Yeah, I didn't want to use technology myself, but here I'm talking to you on the Zoom in the computer across the planet Earth. So the technology is good in some way. It allows this to happen. But I'm also aware that the more I talk on the cell phone and computer, it also sucks all the prana, all the vitality out of this body. There's some price that you have to pay. But if you live on the land, let's say you become a gardener on the land, yeah, and you are under the sun and you put your hands on the dirt and you create the food that you eat, and your life is very slow and simple, yeah, then it's a choice. Or you can combine both. You know, in the ashram, we have a garden, orchard, land, but we also use computer because that's the way how we can communicate with others and offer our service. So maybe now it's not either or, yeah, but become more and more aware of our action. Okay.
Thank you. Someone asked, you spoke about so many important issues. It is so much to absorb, especially focused on your cultivation of virtues and eradication of vices. So that was a comment. Here's one from Carl. You wanted me to read it, or you wanted him to, we can put him in if you want to see him.
Yeah, put him in.
All right, let me promote him to panelist. Carl, you there?
Okay.
He's got a picture.
He need to remove his video. Okay.
Hi,
See
Swami.
you, Carl.
Good to see you.
Home.
Hello, everyone. So
Yeah.
my question is, I'm pulling it back up, which is, why would anyone fear knowing their true self? It is if it's pure love and peace.
If they know their true self is love and peace, then it's easier. They don't get afraid. But usually people cling on to the wrong idea of themselves. Yeah, that is not love and peace, but that is some external quality of themselves. For example, being wealthy or being superior than others or being different than others, then at that time there will be fear. Okay, not everybody is transparent like you. Not everybody is transparent, knowing that the true self is love and peace. Yeah, if people know that already, that would not be a big problem. But sometimes people are so veiled, so thick. Yeah, that is amazing. You know. So I saw a video, amazing video the other day, when somebody, you know, a big guy, somebody uh, come to the hospital, call the ambulance to go to the hospital, and then in the room there, when they want him to do something, or you know, when the doctors, 4, 5, 6 doctors are there and try to tell him what to do, then he completely resists. He completely resists. I'm a grown-up man. I'm not going to listen to you guys. And they say, why are you coming here? Oh, because I feel sick. You're the one that called the ambulance? Yes. So why you come here? I feel sick. So why you come here to be helped and you're not listening to us? We cannot help you. And this man is so resisting. So we know that, you see, sometimes people are conflicting like this. They want to be helped, but they don't want to be helped because they cling on to certain idea. So this is just an example. Okay, the person is really very sick, and they call the ambulance. They get there, the doctors is ready to help them. So they're all there, try to reason to him, but he won't listen at all. So he completely denying. See, so we are in this situation. People are in conflict like this. They want to be helped, but they don't want to be helped. You see, so that if it's clear and simple for everybody, then it's not a problem. Yeah, most of the time it's not clear and simple. People live in darkness and light. Yeah, they know they have to change, but they don't want to change. They know there's something, if they adopt or they let go, things will be better, but they are so afraid, so they cling to their old idea. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Saktidev Opaki, he said, Dear Swami Sita, thank you for this service. What has been the most challenging aspect of the pandemic for you? And how are you dealing with it?
What is the most challenging aspect of the pandemic for me? And the most challenging for me is I see there's so much work to do. Okay, so I work hard and I can do so much. And I see that it's so important to educate people in this time. Yeah, the challenging thing is to see the ignorance and to see that people suffer. So it's very challenging to understand that people suffer because they don't know. Okay, so they cannot understand where they are, what they are, and a lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety. And I believe that education can help them, yeah, if they know better. So that's why I've been talking a lot of different topics and so on. So that is most challenging for me. There is no other thing. I'm facing the ignorance of the world more and more. So I know that the teaching and the knowledge will set people free, at least will calm them down and will help them. So I need help. I need people that also can pass the word out, yeah, and help people. Or at least you can share the information, yeah. And if people need help, then you do need to step out and try to help them, because whatever that you have, you can share. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Heidi, she's a Shivananda teacher. She feels drawn to teaching again when this is all over. However, she also teaches dance class to children. She's torn between teaching dance to kids or yoga and trying to figure out her true dharma. How can she be clear about her dharma?
It doesn't matter. You teach dance or you teach a yoga, it doesn't matter. The main thing is you are serving somebody. You serve some kids, so you have to, the language of kids is dance, so you serve them, okay? And then the language of the adults will be different. So as far as you serve them selflessly, that's your dharma. So don't worry too much about what you do. You can do maybe both. Yeah, you can teach to the kids and you can teach to the adult. But yoga is good for you because when you teach yoga, you also renew yourself because it's for you as well.
Okay. There's one in Chinese. Should I unmute? How much more time do we have? 5 more minutes?
Yeah, just a few more minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna unmute Kumari. I think that's Chinese. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So meditation can help us to elevate ourselves. Is meditation a kind of experience?
Yeah, definitely.
是的，这个冥想就是一种
Wait. Oh.
Meditation is an experience. Yes. So meditation is an experience of calming your mind down and experience of consciousness. Everyone has a different experience. Yeah, when they meditate, they have different experience depending on who they are. But meditation is not an experience that you are imagining or you are seeking for. Yeah, you have to go through the techniques to calm your mind down, and whatever is. Whatever is. That means that you don't imagine. So I understand your question in two ways. Yes, meditation is an experience of consciousness. No, meditation is not an experience that you imagine. Okay?
Thank you. Someone's asking you to speak on how important daily practice is, not just once in a while, but every day.
What is it, Swamiji? I'm sorry.
The importance of daily practice. Can you
Yes.
speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, definitely. Because the sun rises in the morning, sunset in the evening, the different time period of the day. There's how many seconds per minute, how many minutes per hour. So you have to, and thoughts, how fast the thought can be, how fast a thought can be. So that's why you have to, and when the thought happen in the mind, the thing that people are not aware, when the thought happen in the mind, it creates an impression, okay? And that impression, if the thought is wrong thought, that impression will be imprinted in the mind, yeah? And then it would be reproduced another time, and it will be more difficult for you to deal with it. So that's why you need to practice awareness. Yoga meditation is to slow you down and help you to be more aware. So you need to do this every day so that you'll be aware of your thought and you will maintain your level in certain level, your consciousness, and you don't fall down and forget yourself and mix things up more, let things more complicated. So you need to undo all these knots in your mind, undo all this darkness in the mind. So you need to practice a little bit at a time every day, a little bit at a time every day. And that's very, very important. So you need to create a schedule. So it is set, wake up in the morning with sunrise and meditate. Yeah? Meditate right away. No need to do a lot, just half an hour, 20 minutes every day. And then do your asana, your pranayama every day. Do your selfless service every day. Try to take care of your lifestyle so that you can get more prana every day. So be more aware, do some reading, some studying, some talking fine and good, but every day a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. If you don't have a plan, that's when the problem happens. And you just follow your emotions, you follow your feeling, but you don't have a plan. So every day structure is very important.
Okay, one more question. You talked earlier about stepping out of the darkness, coming back to the light, getting clarity. What is the resource you suggest to take the first step to transition to the light?
I just said that is practice everyday yoga and meditation. That's the first step. If you can do that, 1 hour a day, asana, 1 hour and a half, including the pranayama, the breathing, meditation, half an hour a day. Okay, take the class that I gave just recently about meditation. There's a guidance in meditation. Do it early morning, 6 o'clock, half an hour every day. Okay, go to a yoga class. Get yourself involved in a yoga class online with the yoga farm, for example, or any other place, but Shivananda yoga. So because it's a meditative class with breathing, relaxation. So do this, yeah, and that's how you start. And try to study a little bit and try to help others, and I try to take time to think, do some spiritual diary or think about yourself. Okay, that's a beginning.
We have 2 in Vietnamese. I don't know if you have any time left, but it's up to you.
So a person can write later. I like to finish with one little song for your Easter. The Serve, Love, Give, Purify, Meditate, Realize song of Swami Shivananda. He said, serve, love, give, purify, meditate, realize. Be good, do good, be kind, be compassionate. Adapt, adjust, accommodate. Bear insult, bear injury, highest yoga. Bear insult, bear injury, highest yoga. Inquire, who am I? Know thyself and be free. Inquire, who am I? Know thyself and be free. Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om. Om Shanti, Om Peace, Om Shalom, Om. Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om. Om Shanti, Om Peace, Om Shalom, Om. So that's your gift for today, and I hope to see you again. So next satsang will be next Sunday, because it's a good time for a lot more people. So we do it next Sunday about the same time. Okay, we announce a topic later on. Okay, so thank you very much for being here, and happy Easter again. And be good, do good, keep yourself safe, keep yourself healthy, and get to the yoga farm blog and study more, and do yoga every day. There's class there every day. Okay, thank you. We say the prayer to end for all those who are sick or unhappy. So we pray for them. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugamdim Pustivadanam Purvao Kamiva Bandanan Micho Mukshyamamritan. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugamdim Pustivadanam Purvao Kamiva Bandanan Micho Mukshyamamritan. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugamdim Pustivadanam Urvao Kameva Bandanam Mrichua Mukshya Mamritam. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Bolo Satguru Sri Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Sri Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you. Om Namah Shivaya, all the people. Sharon from San Francisco.
So I just want to mention, if you're still there, we have some 5-day courses beginning tomorrow, Monday, with the Yoga Farm. We have yoga beginner course for health and healing at 1 p.m. every day for 5 days. Swami Shiva Shankari is doing a kirtan course every day starting at 2:30 to 4 for 5 days. And now she's also doing a stress management course in the evenings. So check your schedule, whatever time you're available, we can offer something. I think LA Center is also doing daily satsangs in the morning. And of course, we have the 4 yoga classes a day as well. And then,
okay, thank you. Om. Good night or good day. Here is night. It's 10 o'clock at night here. Om.